So you're welcome to the first episode of the Greatness TV show, where we'll be talking about a lot of things from lifestyle to medicine, and a whole lot of things, including entertainment. And today we'll be discussing the social habits that affect our academic excellence. My name is Nwogu Ogechi, and here with me, Dr.Adeseye Adeyiga and Mr. Lot Luka. Welcome, guys. I'm so glad to have you on the show. And like I said, we're talking about the social habits that affect our academic excellence. So, social habits, it's a broad topic. It entails a whole lot of things. So, I would like you to explain what exactly is social habit. What do you mean by social habits?
Yes, probably when you're talking about social habits, basically, these are the habits that has to do with individual lives, what they repeatedly do over time, and it becomes a behavior. From a behavior, it goes into the destiny of such an individual. And if we want to go more deeply, I want us to know the real literary meaning of the word habit itself. Habits, it starts with what we call psychological pattern, described as habit loops, which initiates the brain in an automatic mode to start a response. And this response eventually unfolds a behavior. And scientifically, social habits or habits in the broad view has been linked to some part of the brain, such as the basal ganglia and prefrontal cortex of the brain. And when you talk about the basal ganglia, what the basal ganglia does, it brings about habit formation in human. And the prefrontal cortex is a part of the brain that is responsible for decision making. So once this habit has been formed, the prefrontal cortex goes into sleep because of a behavior has been initiated. So it becomes an unconscious thing that you repeatedly do as an individual, and it becomes a behavior that goes on and on and on and on. And it has also been proven that basically it takes about 28 days approximately to about 18 days to 254 days of a range for an habit to be established in human.
Alright. So what can you add to that?
But just to add a little to that, social habits, as we say, they are habits that are directed to the society. So basically it's an individual's attitude towards people in the society, in the same species of person. So as humans, we can say social habits are habits that we direct towards other humans, not just the ones we pick with animals. That is not a social habit. The social habit is directed from one species to another species of the same species.
Alright, so what are the kinds of social habits you have?
Yeah, in two ways we can divide habits generally. We could have a bad habit, we could also have a good habit. And we have habits such as procrastination, lack of exercise, eating foods that are not good for the body as a consumption, not having a regular exercise, as a student, staying back home when you're not ill, as a student, giving more social attention over your academic pursuit, as a student going into nocturnal activities, as a student going into smoking and drinking. All these could be classified as a bad habit. And also, if you want to talk about the good habits, we could have good habits such as habits that will enable you as a person to perform or achieve a particular goal that becomes a way of life for you, and you behave in such a mode, such as good reading habits, good qualitative time management, good discipline for a particular task. All these could be classified as a good habit.
Okay. You don't have anything to add to that? Alright, so you know, the thing is, a lot of times our society contributes to these habits. So what can you say about that, like our environment? For example, when in Ukraine right now, there are a lot of habits people cultivate because of where they find themselves. So what can you say about that?
Yes, it has been said that one of the major factors that determines human being in terms of optimal performance and becoming whom you are supposed to be, one of them is environment. The environment you stay has an influence upon you in your life, in the activities you engage in. Yes, in Ukraine, as a case, we have a lot of habits that people do engage in, which eventually results in the way they behave, and eventually it becomes a way of life which will result into their destiny, such as smoking, such as a well-going viral pornographic pictures and some other things, engaging in nightclubs, which becomes way of life. Automatically it becomes your behavior. You repeatedly do that unconsciously. Those are one of those things that is obtainable or that are obtainable in Ukraine as a case maybe. But of course, we can blame our environment for contributing to some of the bad habits we have in our society. So as well also, if you find yourself in a very good environment, I mean an enabling environment for you to really showcase whatever you have, you've gotten inside of you, and you repeatedly participate and take an active discipline in such an adventure, it will become an habit at the same time. So invariably, an environment where you live has a positive impact in making your habits or a lifestyle.
Okay. So is there anything like maybe for example something that is a bad habit here is a good habit somewhere else? Is there something like that, or a bad habit is a bad habit, a good habit is a good habit?
No. Basically, we would say a bad habit, when we are talking of a bad habit in terms of general morality, we can say that there are some things that are bad in every place you go, and then there are some things that are good in every place you go. But at the same time, also, there are some things that may be bad in this place and may be good in the other place. Taking developed countries as a case study, Germany, for example, you have an appointment with somebody, say, by 11 o'clock. The person gets there on time, set that appointment, and then you people start on time and finish on time. But when we go back to Africa, for example, most African countries have a common syndrome, they say African time, that when you set time with somebody for an appointment, you have at the back of your mind 1 hour, 30 minutes, or even 2 hours before that appointment kicks off. And that is something that is bad in most developed countries.
So we've heard what they have to say about the first part, and we'll be going on the break. When we come back, we'll talk about, we'll narrow it down to how these habits can affect our academic performance. Thank you. Hold on.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky like shooting stars? I could really use a wish right now, wish right now, wish right now. Can we pretend that airplanes